But last week you gave, again, we touched on this before, your synopsis on LIV Golf and where you're at with it now. And I have finally, after however many years we've been talking about LIV Golf, and we will continue to, I know where I'm at with it right now. And I can finally announce that today.
Is this your big announcement?
I am Team 4 Races for life, baby. No, I'm joking. Now I've had time to digest it. I watched a bit more of it this weekend. I watched some of the PGA Tour as well. I've decided that where I sit with LIV, I'm going to watch it when there's a strong leaderboard, essentially, because if you look at the list of the roster now of LIV Golf and who they've got, there is a few names, I'll be honest, of guys that I wouldn't know if they walked past me in the street. That's just a fact. Out of the 54 guys there is, but there's also a handful, or maybe 2 handfuls now, of golfers who are huge names. And something else happened this weekend again with Jon Rahm. He finished 8th in the end. He was in contention right until kind of the end, then he fell away. You cannot deny, no matter if you hate LIV, love LIV, love the PGA Tour, whatever, you can't deny that Jon Rahm is one of the very best players on the planet. He's the top 3. He, for me now, is the new yardstick, the new measuring stick, because he is in form. You know, some of the guys that have gone to LIV have dropped off, come back again. But it's always hard to kind of know, in my opinion, of like, well, yeah, X person's, Taylor Gooch has won that event, let's say, but how, you know, what's the competition like he's playing against? Is he actually beating good golfers in the prime? If some of them fell off, some of them washed up, etc., etc. You can't deny now, if you're playing a LIV event and beating Jon Rahm, you're playing good golf. So firstly, I was inspired to watch it because I saw the leaderboard on the final day and it was strong. Some of the names, obviously DJ ended up winning it. Jon Rahm was up there. Matt Wolff was doing well again. It's quite good, nice to see him back. And there's a handful of names up there. So I watched some of it. Similar to points what you said last week, the whole noise and the bugs and the whole set to wind me up. Maybe because you'd mentioned that already, I was listening for it. Again, they kept saying Championship Saturday. It finished on Saturday this week, obviously, because the Super Bowl. Again, I kept hearing that. Maybe because you'd mentioned it already. But when I was watching it, I wasn't remotely interested in the team side of it again. That just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever yet. The team side couldn't care less. I wanted to see who won. But I was excited because of the fact there was big names in it. And another thing I thought of, again, and it's an obvious thing we will have touched on many a time before, but what really came to light was, I know whenever the next event is even on, which I don't know off the top of my head, but the next event...
It's Jeddah. In Saudi.
I know which players will be playing in that event. I know for a fact that those same guys are going to be playing. I don't know when it comes to the next PGA Tour event. You don't know who's... Like this one, this feels like the Phoenix one's a big event, but yeah, there was no Rory. But then Scotty Scheffler's there. It is difficult sometimes to know, but I think my allegiance, if you want to call it that, all my allegiance lies with right now is whatever event I'm going to watch on a Sunday night, if they're both on, whichever's got the strongest leaderboard is what I'm going to tune into. It's as simple as that. There's no bias, there's no favourite. Well, I probably would still say I prefer the PGA Tour, but on that, whichever one, as you know, if I've got an hour spur, I'm going to watch the one that's going to entertain me the most. It's as simple as that.
I was a bit torn this weekend because, one, I didn't have a lot of time in my schedule to watch an awful lot of golf. Last weekend, I felt like I had a lot more time. It was, if I had an option to go and flick, I kind of end up double screening a lot of the time.
Yeah, you like a double screen, don't you?
I end up double screening a lot of time. I'd like either PGA or LIV on the TV and add whatever else on my phone. I think there's a couple of, which I didn't do that last week because mainly the Pebble Beach event finished a day earlier, so finished without the Sunday, so I didn't get to see that Sunday. The one thing between the two broadcasts, personally, I think the commentary on PGA Tour is better than LIV, personally. There's an awful lot of adverts on PGA Tour.
Yeah, of course.
Like a lot of adverts, to the point where it was like, I felt like there's almost more adverts than not. And then the other thing was I thought the whole noise had been turned down. I thought it was actually slightly quieter this week, believe it or not. But apart from that, it was the only real change.
You know what, as well?
Oh, sorry, last thing. I'll tell you what I was really impressed with. And I don't know if this actually did work out like this on the Saturday. And again, just all those little things that finish on a Saturday so people could watch the Super Bowl. It was, you had Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm all tied for the lead. And I think there was another player, but it was almost no question who was going to get paired together. You had those three, and you cannot deny, if you have Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau in a group, I mean, what a group.
Yeah.
What a group, eh?
You know as well, what I was thinking is, and I know we're very naive to look at it like you have to be exclusively a fan of one or the other, and I've just said exactly my piece. I'm going to watch whichever one floats my boat more. But there are some people who are now exclusively LIV Golf, and a lot of people who are not willing to entertain it, and I get that, and you see it on social media. But one thing I must say now, I'm kind of warming to, if you like, on the LIV Golf side, is if
the wobbly stool, just carry on.
Is if you are a fan of LIV Golf and you are exclusively a fan of LIV Golf, so that small percentage of people that will only watch LIV, that's all they care about. As a fan, it's quite easy because you've got a handful of events throughout the year. You know when they're going to be. As we've just touched on, you know what players are going to be there. You've actually got a week's off where you don't have to watch it every weekend. You don't have to worry. It sounds silly. There's no like world ranking confusion. There's no real like, oh, this is a big event, this is a small event. Oh, Rory's in this one, Rory's not in that one. It's actually quite a simple thing to follow. If you want to get wrapped up in that kind of LIV Golf world, it feels quite insular. It's quite simple, isn't it? But whereas if you're watching the PGA Tour, there's something on every single week, but some weeks don't really matter, but then some weeks do, and then you get world ranking points for some events and big points for some, not big for others. It is a bit more hard to follow as a fan.
And to some degree, the PGA Tour might have started simple, but give it time, and LIV might start simple, but then down the line it might get more confusing when, you know, more things get added, because it will do. It will eventually get added more, or but yeah, it's you know, it's very interesting. For the third year, kind of looking at this, and I'm the first couple of years I saw there was almost no cracks or issues with the PGA Tour, and lots of issues and cracks with LIV. Now I'm seeing limited but still cracks in LIV. I feel like I'm seeing more in the PGA Tour. I'm feeling like I'm seeing more things that I'm like, yeah, you know what, this isn't right, and I feel like it's got worse. I feel like their products got worse as LIV's products got better. I'd agree.
Just a quick side note. Do you value the listeners of this podcast and the viewers of this podcast?
With all my heart.
Okay, well, good, because that's the answer I wanted to give. We need them a little heads up. Today, so we're actually doing this on Monday, as you know. This comes out Tuesday the 13th. So today, on Tuesday the 13th, at 2 p.m, Rick has a giveaway on his Instagram page. So if you use Instagram, please make sure you go and visit him. He is going to be giving away some of the absolutely brand new Echo LT1 shoes.
Am I?
You are.
Oh.
You are. Your own. Any size, any colour that's available, we'll sort them out for whoever's lucky enough to win.
If you enjoyed that video clip, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the weekly full-length episodes every single Tuesday. You can also listen to it in the car on Apple, Spotify, and all of your favourite podcast platforms.